Hey, what is happening here, Caleb and Luigi? How you doing, Caleb?
Excellent. And you, Luigi?
Yeah, we're here with a new guest for International Talks, Breyden Doherty from Australia. How are you, Brayden?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you guys?
Very
Excellent.
good.
Very good.
Really happy to have you over here today and to inspire more people to come in the U.S., get a scholarship, and kind of like learn a little bit more about how everybody start. Like in the sport, in a school, and kind of like why do you decide to come to U.S. instead of staying in the country?
Yeah. So basically, in Australia, the whole dream if you play a sport is to come to America and do that sport in college. Basically, a lot of people think that it's a good way to get some free education as well. Because if you get over here on a sports scholarship, then pays for most of the schooling, and we all know how
I
expensive
just
college and uni
I just
is.
have a quick question.
Yeah.
Is expensive the study in Australia?
Yeah, it's expensive. It's about the same.
It's about the same.
It's about the same, but we don't have scholarship opportunities.
Like players can have any kind of a scholarship in the university,
No, we
even
don't
it's
have that.
academically.
I think there are some limited academic scholarships, but I mean, I haven't been to university there, so I don't know the whole academic side of it, but definitely sport. I mean, I know I have two universities in my state, and we don't even have a sports team
No,
for any of them. So,
you don't practice any sport in college
no,
over there,
it's not a thing. You go to university in Australia to study,
and just for
that's it.
fun,
Yeah,
even for fun,
yeah. No, I mean
nothing.
you can play for fun if you really want to, but you're not going to get any. The competition here is a lot higher than what it is over there for sure.
Yeah, and we also see, like, for example, we are tennis players. I know you are a tennis player too, Brayden, and Caleb is soccer player, and we can see that the competition here in America and college tennis, a lot of tennis players have, like, jumped to pro after playing tennis here, and I don't think in our country, for example, Luigi, I'm from Venezuela, and I think we don't have that opportunity, and also here we get more prepared. So, Brian, can you like tell us a little bit more about yourself and like how you started and why did you decide to play tennis instead a
Like,
different sport?
what was your first sport?
Was
When
my
you,
first sport.
yeah, like
I started playing AFL, which is the Australian Football League.
actually like soccer.
It's football, but it's a completely different sport to any other country. Like no other
What?
country plays this sport
No
except for us,
way.
but it's like our national sport basically. Like it's
Okay.
huge, and every little kid plays it. Everyone starts playing that.
How is it work? Or
It's like American football in a way, but you got to kick the ball through the goalposts. That's essentially the way. You can run with the ball, but you got to bounce it every 20 steps.
with your hands?
You can, yeah, with your hands, yeah, and then you can handball it to other teammates, and if you mark the ball, so if you catch the ball after someone's kicked it, you stand where you are, where you caught the ball, and you got to kick it again somewhere else.
On
Um,
and science, when you start playing that sport, science,
I was 6 when I
you're
started
6 years
playing that.
old.
Yeah, so I played a bit of every sport just to see what I kind of like. So I did swimming, I did football, soccer, volleyball, yeah, tennis. I eventually started doing tennis when I was about 10. I was 10 years old when I started playing tennis. And then I started playing competitively when I was 11 because I just
Very,
loved it.
very sport guy.
Yeah.
And your parents play sports too?
My mum grew up playing tennis until she
Okay.
was about 20 and tore her ACL, so she couldn't play anymore.
Okay.
My dad was a sprinter, and he tried out or he nearly got into the Olympics on the Australian team for sprinting. Very close, but yeah, it's a
So
very athletic
very
different team.
competitive family.
Yeah, exactly. So sport was always, going to be a thing that I loved. So glad I picked tennis for sure.
And then when after you play football, the Australian football, why you
I went to tennis, so I played that for about 4 years.
straight to tennis?
And then played some tennis, tried that out a bit, and I loved it, and I was good at it. So like being 10 years old and never really playing before, beating all these kids that have played since they were 3 years old, it made me feel really good. So
Yeah.
I was like, yeah,
The DNA from your mom.
yeah, exactly. My mom, she helped me out a lot with my coaching, so I really appreciate that.
So, but my question is, your mom at some point talk you about, oh, I want you to play tennis, or just was your own
She
decision?
It was my own decision. She
Uh,
didn't sway anything at all. She actually encouraged me to try heaps of other sports before I even picked tennis. Really, she wasn't expecting me to take the sport so seriously, or as serious as I did.
okay.
From such a quick, I've only been playing it for a year, and I want to play competition. She wasn't really expecting that.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good thing, because as I am from, like, a lot of my teammates or parents that I know, always they demand that they have to play the sport, and it's like demanding and like mandatory, and maybe the kids at some point they didn't enjoy the sport just
Yeah,
for the sparring.
and pretty much because soccer is a big sport in Colombia and in all South America.
So
That's what we think. I also play soccer since I was like 4 years old, as well as tennis. And
But your parents didn't tell you anything about the
Ki-
sports, or
uh, my mom wanted me to play like both soccer and tennis, and that's how I started. But then she told me like you have to decide in one of them. But she didn't tell me like you have to play soccer.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
have to just decide one.
just
already.
decide?
Yeah.
Because I think she already had in her mind that I had to come to America for a scholarship, even playing soccer or tennis.
Or tennis? Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
huge.
I didn't even decide to come to America until about a year before I actually came here. I made the decision. So
So tell us more about, like, when you're 13 years old, you're actually good. Like, what the first thing that you thought? Maybe being a professional tennis player, or if
yeah, that was the plan. That was the plan. To basically do as well as I can and turn pro. That's the idea of a lot of young kids, is to be number one and be professional. And
and when you realize, like, you don't.
I was about probably 16, 17 when I realized that I'm not going to make it
I
professionally.
don't.
And I was okay with that. I was perfectly fine with that. Because at this point, I'd been injured 3 times. My first 5 years of playing tennis, I'd been out for 3 of them with injury. So it was tough to try and... Not only was I already catching up from being 10 years old starting the sport, but I'm now another 3 years behind because, stress fractures and shoulder displacements and just everything that just all hits one at a time. So it was tough to come back from all that, and then
Yeah,
try and make it
that's
professionally.
difficult. So can you tell us about your experience as a player, for example, in soccer? Like, when I was young, I played in different teams, like one team, 2 teams in my city, and then I have to move to another city, and then I have to move to other countries, something like that. But
Yeah.
how is in tennis? How is in tennis?
Yeah, in Australia, the tennis level isn't very high. Unless you live in Western Australia, that's probably the highest level tennis that you'll find club-wise, unless you play tournaments, So the only good kind of hits you'll get are some tournaments. I started off in a very country club, very local country place where I lived because I grew up in the country, grew up on 80 acres of land, kangaroos jumping in my backyard all the
Yeah.
time. And so for me to make the trip to kind of a suburban area that had a higher population
Yeah.
was a lot for me. So I basically took what I could get. So I would hit with walls a lot of the time, and I'd hit with my mum a lot of the time. And then I think when I hit about 13, I started traveling into the city and doing some squads, some city squads with the higher ranked kids. And then within that year that I started doing that, my ranking went from outside the top 500 in Australia to inside the top 150.
How old are you in that time?
I was about 14, 15.
14, 15?
Yeah, I think I was 15 at that point. So
You don't think it's crazy to say that at 14 years old you can be like that? Like, you don't think it's too young for a person to start, like, thinking in professional pathways or something like that? Maybe a guy from 14 years old is doing, I don't know, school, trying to play with his friends, something. Or
Yeah.
what do you think
I don't know.
about?
I think everybody has his dream, like their dreams. Like
yeah.
like I wanna be a tennis player, for example. but it's when you are growing that actually you know, and you kind of know that you are not gonna be able to do it, or you are gonna be able, depending on your resources, how you're playing, the opportunities that you have, sponsorships. Because, for example, tennis is a sport that is really expensive, and if you don't have like a sponsor or someone that help you to pay for hotels, uh, tickets for the airplane, and everything like that, it's pretty difficult for us, you know.
Yeah, that's
For
crazy.
soccer, most of the time you get like a sponsor by a
Yeah,
team. Always.
for the team, yeah.
Yeah, for the team.
Teams are a lot easier to be part of professionally
Indi-
than
individual.
individual sports,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, because it's only you out there on the tennis court. You know, your performance drives how good you are. You know, if you're having a bad day in soccer or basketball or football or any sort of team sport, if you're the only one there having a bad day and you've got 20 other guys having a good day, your team's gonna do well. Still, like it's not the big, not be all end all, but yeah, definitely it's expensive being a tennis player.
Yeah, it's
For sure.
expensive, and also it's a really individual sport. You always are like by yourself in the court. Of course it's different than tennis in college. College is completely different. Like you play with a team, and you don't have to think just about you, but also about the others. You know, you can win your 2 matches, and then the team can lose, and then
So
you lose as
I
well.
just remember one thing is in individual sports, like you have to be strong mentally, right? But can you talk us more about like how you can be strong in the field, like mentally?
Yeah, I mean, I know when I first came here to college, especially, I struggled mentally a lot. My mentality was not there. It was tough going from an individual sport to a team sport. I struggled a lot with that whole dynamic and that aspect of the sport. Even in Australia, it's such an individual sport. Like you see your team once a week to play with them. That's it. You don't train with them every day.
For example, when you're in the court and you're playing against one, like it's 1v1, like what is the difference mentally, like how you can beat someone just mentally? Because I think that's the key. I say Rafael Nadal, those big dream stars, they say this everything is mental. So can you tell me more about what kind of mental are they referring, or how you can improve?
Yeah, I'd say a lot for those for a high level, for those professionals. I feel like their mentality is driven by their want to win and be the best. I think the ones who win at that high level want to be better than the other guy more on the day. So, which is why, you know, it's different every day. Everyone plays different every day. Someone will want to win more than the other person on the other end of the court.
Yeah. When you're playing, like, and you're down in the set, like, how you can start, like, overcome that situation? What was in your mind? What you thinking in that moment?
Try not to think.
No?
That's my plan. I mean, I tend to overthink, actually. I care too much about how I play and care too much about how I act. But I've actually found that if I care less, I play better.
Oh,
the
that's
more,
that interesting.
yeah, the more relaxed I am, the better I play. So the less I think, the more relaxed I am.
So yeah, what Breyden is saying is completely true. Like as a tennis player, I think that when you feel more relaxed and you are not thinking about it,
At some point, maybe
you play better, because if you're thinking about it, you are stressed.
you get nervous.
And it's not that you get nervous, but it's kind of like you get tight. Your arms, kind of, you are not loose to play, you know.
Mhm.
And every time you wanna hit correctly, it's like it's not you, but it's like your mental part is telling you like I don't know what to do. I'm losing, and then you just don't play your game, and you play completely worse than you play in practice. Like you can be amazing in practice, and then you get to the match and get tight.
Did you ever guys work with a mental coach or do coaching with?
I did actually in my second year here at college, in my sophomore year. My tennis got so bad.
Like back in
No, I
Australia.
actually worked with a woman called Coach J at Bowling Green.
Okay.
And
That's interesting. I
she
wanna know
helped
more
me-
about-
So she helped me a lot with overcoming I used to get on the court and I used to shake so much that I couldn't even hold my racket properly in my
Okay,
first 2 years
okay.
here at college. So what this person, what this woman showed me and kind of helped me overcome was that fear of playing badly every time I get on the court. So my thinking went from, oh, I'm going to miss this next shot to, like, I'm not going to miss. It's not going to happen. My confidence levels, like, dramatically increased in that time period that I was working with her. And it's just a change of my talking to myself. Instead of it being a negative thing,
Okay.
it was a positive thing.
Positive.
So, and I know it's so easy for everyone to say that, but it's so hard to do.
Can you tell us more, can you tell us more about how it works, how the therapy works? Because I think it's so interesting.
Yeah, so she has a kind of step plan with how things work over a 6-week period.
Okay.
And it starts off with you writing down your goals for the week, just for
Okay.
the week. And your goals can be simple, like for this practice session, I'm going to say nothing but positive things to myself. That's it. And that could be what you do for the entire week, is just say positive things to yourself.
Okay.
Even if you miss a ball, you tell yourself, that's okay. You've done really well to get here. You know, you've made it this far. You're in America. You're playing college. You're doing so well. And just changing how you talk to yourself was just the main thing.
Wow.
So, and over the 6-week period, it ends up turning into muscle memory, basically. So, same as how we know how to hit a forehand every second, no matter what we use or hold, we know how to hit a forehand the way we always do. Same thing with the way you talk to yourself.
So at some point it's more mental than physical.
I would say tennis is probably 70% mental and 30%
Se-
physical.
70%.
I'd say it's 70% mental and 30% physical. Because, I mean, you look at our tennis team, everyone on the team can play tennis. I feel like what differs everyone on the court is how badly everyone wants to play well and how badly everyone wants to win and beat each other every single day. You know, Luigi's killer attitude is what makes him such a good player. You know, he's always attacking the ball. Whereas, like, for me, for example, I'm a much more passive player. You know, I might have a
Okay.
big forehand, but I sometimes I tend to just back off too much because I don't have that full
So
confidence.
do you think what is the point to the hard work? Because I used to be a guy that just hard working, but maybe I don't worry my other stuff, maybe in the mental side,
Mm-hmm.
in the psychology side. So it's not just about to hard work, right?
Yeah, so if you do the
How
hard
you can balance?
Well, if you do the hard work, you're going to gain confidence because you're going to feel like especially in tennis, you're going to feel like you're getting to balls that you think you wouldn't be able to get to. So that hard work, that fitness you're doing, that strength you're doing, you're not going to injure yourself.
Okay.
So the fact that you can do 3 hours of a match and get to every single ball,
Okay.
you might not hit them all in, you might miss some, but it gives you confidence that you go, I'm going to get the next one in. You know, I know I can get to that ball, I'm going to get the next one in. You know, you're going to keep pushing because you have that physical ability, and that because you have that physical ability, it gives you more confidence in your head to go for more things.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, that's completely true, and also college tennis, what we were talking, is really different about it, because I think that in college you are thinking too much, and in, like, I'm not gonna get that spot, I'm gonna lose my spot. For example, I'm playing at number 6 and we have like 10 in the team, for example. If I lose my match, I'm gonna lose my number 6, and then another guy is gonna play 6 and I'm not gonna play in the lineup. So that's the mental part, you know.
Yeah.
If you are thinking that in the match, then you're gonna lose, because you are not thinking that I wanna win this match. If not, you are thinking like, if I lose, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm not gonna play anymore because coach is not gonna want me anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to talk with two things. I just want to roll back one thing. Is like, I remember when I was young, I used to have a lot of fear when I came into before the game. So do you have any advice for the people this young, like, to beat that when
Yeah.
you work with your mental coach?
Yeah, I would say if you're a young player and you're wanting to go pro and you're wanting to do as well as you can in your sport and you're willing to do the hard yards, I would look at seeing a mental coach as soon as possible from a young age. Doing that is going to help anyone from a young age. I would also say, honestly, that's probably the biggest thing, is just seeing a mental coach as soon as possible.
You don't have any advice like how can I, as a player, even if soccer, tennis, swimming, as a sport, as an athlete, how can I prepare myself and my mind to don't have the fear before the game, or it's normal to have it, or how to control, how to manage?
Visualization's a big thing. If you can visualize yourself doing things right, you have got a 90% more chance of it happening on the court or on the field or in any sport whatsoever. If you picture yourself and imagine yourself, see yourself doing the same thing correctly over and over and over in your head, then it's gonna happen. It's going to happen.
Okay.
Like, you have a much more higher chance of that happening, and that's visualization. That's a big thing.
Did you ever hear about mindfulness?
Yep. That's
What do you think about that?
I think it's amazing. I think I do it now. You know, I don't do it every day, like the mindfulness where you just
Can you teach us more about how it works?
So the way I was taught mindfulness is where you can take about 15 minutes of your day just to appreciate what you've got, and you can appreciate how far you've gotten where, like, in the sport you are, or it doesn't even have to be in a sport. It can be in a job. It can be where you are, like in a
life.
workplace, in life. It's just 15 minutes just to kind of reflect on where you're at and go, wow, I'm here. I got here. This is, there are so many other people that haven't gotten here, and look where I'm at. 15 minutes a day. It doesn't even have to be 5 minutes a day, just to reflect on what you're doing.
And this helps in your confidence,
Yeah.
everything.
Confidence. It boosts your productivity as well. Boosts
Your energy.
effort, your energy, all of that. You know, the amount of times that I go into the gym and I go, I don't want to go to the gym. You know, and I don't want to go lift at 7 a.m. in the morning. But it takes 5 minutes of me visualizing where I want to be or reflecting on where I'm at to give me that kind of bit of confidence boost and energy boost, for those early morning lifts.
That's so interesting. And the second thing that I want to talk is like, can you point two memories? The one scenario is when you're like losing one game so bad and you overcome that game and you still you finish winning, and the other is the opposite.
So I remember when I was 13. I just started playing really good. I've been playing really good at this point, and first tournament back after taking a little bit out, and I was losing 6-1 5-love in a tournament, and it was first round, and I was playing the number 2 seed, and I was 5-love down. And I'm like, well, I'm either gonna lose this 6-love or I'm gonna win this in 3 sets. So I won it in 3 sets. I came back, 6-1 5-love down, and I ended up winning it 7-5 6-2 or something like that. I think it was 6-2 or 6-3. And I remember the guy talked to me afterwards, going, "How did you get so good?"
That's crazy.
And I was like, "I'll be honest, don't know." it was random.
You don't know?
No, just kind of relaxed, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's matches in tennis, for example. A match can change a lot, For example, when I went to the South American tournament in Ecuador, I was playing against Uruguay, and I lost the first set 6-1, and I was losing 5-0, 40-15. But when I was 3-0 in the second set, my coach came to me and he was like, "Hey, you're playing for your country, right?" And I was like, "Yeah," and he kind of gave me that energy, and I was like, "Yeah, I need to, see what I'm doing wrong and try to come back." And then I just start passing balls to the middle of the court, without missing. I'm doing whatever it takes to win, if I have to go a lob, I will go a lob. And yeah, it resulted that I finished winning that match. I don't even know how, but it's the sport,
Maybe
right?
the other person got nervous too.
Yeah,
no?
they don't. Sometimes
Yeah,
you don't know how to close the match. And for example, for you, Caleb, in soccer, you can be 2-0.
Like the 2-0 is the most dangerous.
Yeah, 2-0 and then 3-2 in
Yeah.
the 90.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
And the other the
The
other
other
scenario.
I just come back from my stress fracture. I just got a one-handed backhand. It's my first tournament as a one-handed backhand.
When was it?
I was 17 at
17?
this point, so just got my one-handed backhand, and I had no confidence in it whatsoever. So I spent the entire match running around my backhand, hitting forehands, and I won the first set 7-5, and I was 4-1. No, 5. I was like 5. I think I was 5-1. 5-1 up. Yeah, it was 5-1. So I won the first 7-5. It was 5-1 up, and all of a sudden the guy worked out that I didn't have a backhand, and decided to just hit everything hard to my backhand, and I ended up losing 7-5, 5-7, and it was like 10-2 in the super tie break, like first to 10-point tie break. And I cried. I was 17. I cried. I don't care. I was so upset because I felt hopeless because I didn't have a backhand. I'm 17 years old, about to go to college, and I don't have a backhand. So, best believe after that I started working on my backhand.
Yeah.
So I don't think I hit forehands at practice for the next 6 months.
The next 6 months.
Yep, just hit backhands every day. So.
What is the best memory in the GMAC and the worst one?
In tennis?
Yeah.
My best memory was winning my first tournament on clay when I was 16. That's my best memory. In the under 16 and unders. That was awesome. That was probably my favorite memory, is winning that tournament. And it was on clay too, and I hated clay. So, and then the worst memory would probably have to be
When you lost with that guy that you were with.
Yeah, that one hurt a lot. I'm not gonna lie. That was probably one of the worst ones. But other than that, I had a rivalry when I was a kid with this one guy who was like also my best friend at the time, and I was playing so well. Like I still don't think I've played a better match in my life. I was just finishing 17, like nearly 18 years old, and the guy was just painting the lines. Like every ball he hit the line, and I was getting pissed off. Like
Yeah.
and we were playing on synthetic grass, so it was very sand, like it was full of sand. So every shot that I would hit, I'd slide, and I was getting so mad, so angry, nearly broke a racket, but I yet to break one. So.
What about the GMAC?
The GMAC?
Yeah.
Jeez. Losing to Tiffin. That one hurts.
In the final,
It was like last year.
Three.
Last year.
Yeah, last year in the final. That one hurt. But everyone played well. That was the problem. Everyone could. The big part that hurt though was that everyone could have played better. Everyone played well, but everyone could have played better. But it is what it is.
What do you think you could do better? Not in the physical side.
Yeah. Everything that I think we needed to get better on, I think everyone has got better on. Everyone has a much more aggressive attitude towards tennis now.
Okay.
But not angry. Everyone is more dedicated to win
Okay.
after losing to Tiffin, basically. Everyone wants to win this GMAC so bad now. My freshman year, no one really cared.
Like more committed.
Yeah. So now that we're in my senior year,
You're hungry.
everyone's angry for it. Everyone wants to win so
Wants
bad.
to win.
Now this is my last semester, but I hope that you guys get the W next year.